Ladies and gentlemen, g'day, welcome back to the channel. My name's Economics Mate, and this is World of Tanks Blitz. Thank you for dropping by. For all those new subscribers out there, you guys are bloody awesome. So, in today's video, as the title suggests, we are going to be talking about how to effectively win in a platoon. Platooning is an age-old strategy, I guess you could say, or a play set or a play style that originated back in the original World of Tanks PC. Of course, I'm talking about, platooning with, tanks and whatnot, not, other, other sort of cooperative gameplay. Platooning in World of Tanks PC has been a thing for many years, right? More than a decade. And Blitz introduced platooning as well, basically right from the start. It was very much an anticipated and much loved sort of play style, I guess. Cooperative play has always been something that, has always struck the curiosity of many different people. And to say that, it does require a specific skill set to really get the most out of that platoon. I want to give you a scenario. Let's say, for instance, you are in a platoon that has a Waffen F1.0 or the Waffenträger LV100. And let's say you're platooning with someone in your team, or rather someone from your friends list, for instance, or a clan mate or someone who you randomly met in a battle, for instance, that wants to platoon with you. Cool. In my case, sometimes I'll platoon with my channel members and sometimes I platoon with my subscribers. Regardless of the matter, you're platooning with someone. And let's say both of you run the Waffen F1.0. The fact that you're running both the same tank means that you understand the dynamics of this thing and you're going to be able to use the tanks to their advantage, especially when one of you guys needs to reload, the other one can pop out and fire a shot and take a shot for the next person. And that's the key element. So I'm going to show you a replay from two of my good friends, Ren and of course GrandMcLegend. Ren, of course, aka known as I Love Lettuce. Both of these lovely human beings are going to be in a platoon and they're going to showcase just how good their coordination is and their cooperation. Because again, platooning is a crucial skill. You might platoon for the fun of it. Awesome. But the key thing here is, in order to platoon, you need to understand each other's playstyle. And therefore, it's very good to have a voice chat. So we're going to showcase this platoon. I'm going to break down key elements of the replay, especially what I think is what you need to do in certain situations. So without further ado, let us get right into the video. So here we are watching GrandMcLegend and I Love Lettuce, both of them playing in the ISA, which by the way is a hell of an underrated tank, and they are playing on Middleburg. Now it's curious to see where they choose to go. Are they going to go towards the town or are they going to go towards the hill? Well, it looks like they are going towards the hill. Very interesting strategy there. So in case you guys don't know, the ISA is a Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank. It is a very good Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank. In fact, it has fantastic DPM for a Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank. It's got a 122mm gun, very nice penetration values, basically a similar gun to the IS-4, not exactly the same gun, but very similar indeed, and very similar penetration values. So it doesn't struggle as much to penetrate Tier 10 heavy tanks. So yeah, it's a great tank. It's got good mobility. It's got decent armor, especially if you use it to your, advantage. But most importantly, oh my gosh, for God's sake, that Foch. I mean, at the very least, what GrandMcLegend here is doing is using the Foch to his advantage. I'm going to pause the video right there. I like what Grand has done here. Again, I do this as well, and I think my good friend Buttons also mentioned this, who happens to be a YouTuber as well. He mentioned this, and he said, the reason why I do so well in some of these T10 battles is because I use other people as shields, right? Now, obviously, there is sort of the ethical aspect there, like, oh, should you really be using other players as your sort of meat shield? Well, the answer to that question is, what is that person doing? Are they obstructing your view, for instance? Are they purposely blocking you? Or are they just sitting in front of you because they've decided to move into where you're obviously going and just stayed in front of you and just stayed there? In this case, the Fosh 155 just stood in front of, or rather drove in front of GrandMcLegend, and as he was trying to get a shot into that T-57 Heavy. And so Grand used that opportunity to basically use him as extra cover so he doesn't get hit. So very smart move there. Now notice how I Love Lettuce has decided to move towards that section of Middleburg. And that area there where the hills are basically provides the perfect opportunity to do, to do peekabooming, basically. Because with this tank, you need to peekaboom. Yes, you can technically side scrape in it, or rather reverse side scrape, but in a situation like this, when you don't have very good gun depression, you need to hide that lower plate, and as such, peekabooming is essential. Now, notice how Ren also has tungsten enabled. This thing has a great amount of DPM. So if you're running this with tungsten and, for instance, adrenaline, which GrandMcLegend is, it is really, really good. It's a good strategy to have because it means that you'll be able to pump out a few shots with that tungsten and do a nice amount of damage. Let's continue on with the replay. Now, do keep in mind, it's a short replay. Ren gets a beautiful shot into that SU-12254, but he does clear the Kampfpanzer 70, unfortunately. Now, again, Ren gets another shot into the SU-122. Now, I'm going to pause this for a second here. Notice how on the enemy team, there are two SU-12254s. Now, for those of you who are unaware, the SU-12254 has the most DPM of any tank in the game. Yes, technically speaking, the Jag Tiger comes very close and actually exceeds that by a substantial margin when you're running adrenaline and you're running rammer and you're running full provisions, and at the same time when you're running tungsten, because it has tungsten, right? So you do actually exceed what the SU-12254 has in terms of DPM. But there's no denying the SU-12254 is a very underrated tank. It's basically an E25 at Tier 9. And when you're running two of them in a platoon that know what they're doing, boy oh boy, they wreak havoc. Luckily for Ren and for Grand, these two are not going to be much of an issue. As far as I know, they're not going to be much of an issue. But let's have a look here. So Ren is in a very good position. They're using their gun depression, they're using their armor frontally to bounce shots. GrandMcLegend managed to get a shot into that SU, but as you can see, they are communicating with each other in a voice chat. So Ren is on this side, and GrandMcLegend is on that side. And unfortunately, he misses that shot. Now notice how he's only managed to do one shot. He's only managed to let off one shot, which is unfortunate. Gotta pause it there. So, GrandMcLegend gets a nice shot into the WZ-113, who unfortunately decided to push out. Ren has decided to stay in that position there, so that way both of the platoon mates can get shots off from different sides. Okay, so what have we learned here? We have seen that both Grand and Ren have decided to take positions on either side of that rock or that hill, whatever you want to call it. And it's actually a very, very good strategy because it means they can get shots off from two different directions, especially if those tanks decide to sort of push in that area. So yeah, it does provide pretty damn good cover. Now, notice how he switched to the HE there. Very, very good thing there. He was going to try and get a penetrating shot into the back of that Skoda. Unfortunately, he hits the tracks instead. Gets a nice shot into there. Oh, look at that double shot. That's exactly what the communication I was talking about. Being able to double shot a target, or rather double pen a target, is essential. Now, Grant hasn't used his beautiful snapshot there, by the way, on the SU-12254. It is a very, very clutch game right now. There is 4 against 5 tanks. He's going to try and get the hatch. Beautiful shooting right there. Absolutely chef's kiss right there. Now, they're coordinating. He's constantly looking back and forth at his platoon mate. Beautiful switch to the heat there. Not sure why he's not using his adrenaline or his tungsten shells. Well, as I say that, he's using them right now. Boom. One shot into that lower plate. You need to shoot him with HE. Come on, Ren. Yes. Yes. Boom. Done. Easy. Beautiful. Love that. Love that coordination. That T57 Heavy there. He's on a one-shot. Now, oh boy, this is going to be very, very clutch. Unfortunately, Ren is taking shots. They need to move back. They need to move back. Very good, very, very good strategy there, using HE into the sides of the AMX 50B. And I'm going to pause it right there. I'm going to pause it right there. Do you see what I'm looking at right now? Do you see what this is? Ren is on very low hit points. They took a lot of shots. What does that mean? It means as a good platoon mate, Grand is going to move in front of them to sort of block any shots towards them. Now, you see pro players that do this all the time when they are platooning. They always preserve their hit points because they know that one of their platoon mates will eventually lose more hit points than they need to. In this case, Ren bled more than they needed to. So therefore, as a good platoon mate, Grand moved forward, not only took shots, but was also, shooting shots in return. So very, very good coordination. There's a very important skill that you guys need to learn when you are platooning is look after your platoon mate. Don't keep him waiting. Do not just leave them to be. Look after them. So now, suddenly, it is gone from, oh, look at that beautiful double shot there. Cleared. Beautiful, beautiful coordination there. Beautiful coordination. It went from being a 4 versus 5 situation to being a 4 versus 2 situation because of the good coordination and communication between GrandMcLegend and I Love Lettuce. That is the most crucial aspect of platooning, of being successful in a platoon, is communication. Communication is key. If you don't have good communication skills with your platoon mates, you guys are going to fail. You guys will fail. And your platoon will basically just disintegrate. Now remember, you would rather have someone with you making sure that you're kept safe and supporting you than having a platoon mate who doesn't really care and is just, platooning because he has to, or she has to, or they have to, right? So again, crucial skill is, of course, communication. Communication is key. And it revolves around any tank, whether it's an IS-8, whether it's an IS-4, whether it's a VK9001P, a Waffen F1.0, a 907, it doesn't matter what tank you're playing in. It does not matter what tank you're playing in. Whatever tanks you guys choose, make sure you strategically choose those tanks if your aim of getting into those battles is winning. If your aim is winning and increasing your stats together, then yeah. That's what I would say. I would say choose tanks that you're very comfortable playing and you understand the strengths and weaknesses very, very closely. And tanks that will work extremely well when you basically play cooperatively in a sense, because that's what platooning is. You're platooning with someone, you're playing cooperatively with them, you're coordinating with them, you're coordinating strategic attacks, and making sure that you understand the end goal is to win. And remember, communication is key. In order to, excel all the platoons that you see, all the pro platoons that you see, especially with streamers and whatnot, they always are in a voice chat and they are communicating with someone. Because you can't really platoon and not really communicate, because then you basically, you don't know what's going on, right? It's the same thing with tournaments. You see pro clans, when they're playing tournaments, they're all in voice chats. They are coordinating, communicating with one another. That is the difference. That's the difference. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long and strenuous. I didn't want to obviously stretch it out too much, but I hope you understood the importance of communication, the importance of making sure you keep a lookout on your platoon mate, understanding what is going on, understanding your tank dynamics, using your consumables accordingly, and double shotting tanks, or rather focus firing on tanks, is very, very important. It's a very important skill that you need to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves, look after your friends and family, peace in the Middle East. I'll catch you all in the next one, and be safe on the battlefield, all right? Peace out, guys.